Let's get started with our first news. Caio Borralho has shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated clash between Kamzakame and Drizduple set to go down in Chicago, Illinois on August 16th. This isn't just any fight. It's a UFC middleweight title bout with huge stakes. Fans around the world are buzzing about what could happen when these two dangerous fighters finally meet inside the octagon. Borralho himself will be watching very closely to see how it all plays out. With just over 6 weeks to go until fight night, he spoke with MMA Junkie to give his analysis. He was refreshingly honest about the challenge of making a prediction. According to him, the matchup is extremely intriguing because of the way their styles could clash and change over time. Borralho explained that Chame might have the edge early on thanks to his explosive, aggressive style. He's known for overwhelming opponents right out of the gate, smothering them with pressure, and looking for the quick finish. For many fighters, that's simply too much to handle in the opening minutes. But Borralho was careful to point out that things might shift if the fight goes into the later rounds. He believes that the longer the fight goes, the better it could get for Drius du Plessis. Drius has proven time and time again that he has serious durability, grit, and cardio to keep pushing when his opponents fade. It's a hard question, Borralho admitted during the interview. I always pick against Drius, and he always shuts my mouth. He's doing very good. He's the champion, but Hamza's a tough fight for everyone. Borralho didn't shy away from acknowledging how dangerous Chame is. I think this fight can be as fast as the Whittaker fight, he said, referring to Draka's stunning victory over Robert Whittaker. He can finish Draka's really fast. That explosive finishing ability is what makes Chame such a terrifying opponent. But Borralho didn't stop there. He added a nuanced take. Past the first 2 rounds, the fight gets better for Drius. In his view, if du Plessis can survive the early storm, his chances of turning the tables increase significantly. So I'm not picking anyone, but that's how I see it, he concluded. Borralho showed respect for both fighters, recognizing that predicting MMA outcomes is far from easy, especially at this level of competition. Meanwhile, Borralho himself is preparing for his own big test. He has a #1 contender fight coming up against Nasruddin and Imavov, just 3 weeks after Chimaev and du Plessis face off. That fight is critical for him. He's hopeful that if he gets the win, it will secure him a shot at the winner of UFC 319's title bout. He knows exactly what's on the line. A title opportunity is within reach. But first, he has to deliver. For now, though, he'll be watching the August showdown just like all of us, eager to see who emerges as the middleweight king. Now, let's move on to the second news. Arman has made some bold claims about Ilia Topuria, saying he believes Ilia is easier to beat than Charles Oliveira. This is a striking statement, especially considering how Ilia absolutely shocked the world with that brutal first-round knockout over Olivia, one of the most dangerous and respected fighters in the fighters division. But Sukin isn't impressed. The rising contender has been on a tear in the lightweight division, and he's overflowing with confidence. During a recent appearance on Daniel Cormier's YouTube channel, Arman didn't hold back in explaining why he believes Topuria would be an easier matchup for him than Dub Bronx was. I'm going to strike him. I'm going to kick him. Arman declared, I watched his fight, and he was wrestling a little bit. He got tired so much, and he's never fought wrestlers like me. According to Tarukan, Topuria's gas tank and experience against elite-level wrestlers are big question marks. He didn't stop there. He pointed to Bryce Mitchell as evidence that Ilia is beatable on the ground. Bryce Mitchell, he's the worst fighter in 145, Arman said with an edge in his voice. He took Ilia down and held him from a crazy position. I can tell he's not high level. For Sukin, this is a matter of levels. He sees himself as a completely different kind of challenge. Someone who doesn't just dabble in wrestling, but lives and breathes it. Someone who can drag Ilia into deep waters and make him pay for any holes in his grappling defense. This is not WWE, Arman insisted, dismissing any notion that Ilia's highlight reel finishes make him invincible. I can't wait to show everybody. I'll send tap to back to top 15 pound for pound. For me, it's easier to fight him than Olivia. It's a statement that's sure to raise eyebrows among fans. After all, Olivia is known for being one of the most dangerous submission specialists in UFC history. Ilia, by contrast, just starched him in the first round, proof to many that he's truly elite. But Sarukian doesn't buy the hype. He's convinced that Ilia has never faced a wrestler of his caliber. That when the takedowns start coming, Ilia will have no answers, that the pressure will break him. It's a classic stylistic clash that gets fans excited. Because if these two ever do fight, it will be a true test of whose strengths win out. Despite all this talk, Arman also knows MMA is unpredictable. He's been around the sport long enough to understand that anyone can win on any given night. But make no mistake, he wants the world to know he's ready to expose Ilia Topuria. He's not here to be humble. He's here to make a statement, to put himself in line for a title shot, and to prove to everyone that he's the real threat in the division. Now let's move on to another news. Israel Adesanya recently made headlines for checking a fan who tried to take a cheap shot at Jon Jones during a UFC fan expo. It was a moment that showed not only Adesanya's sharp tongue, but also his sense of respect for fellow fighters, even rivals. At one time, Adesanya and Jones had one of the UFC's most heated rivalries. The two exchanged insults on social media, teased moving weight classes to fight each other, and generated plenty of buzz with their trash talk. Fans loved it, always imagining what would happen if these two dominant champions ever settled their differences inside the cage. But despite all that animosity, things eventually cooled down. Over the years, both men went their separate ways in the sport. And recently, with Jones announcing his retirement, the dynamic between them seems to have softened significantly. During the UFC's annual Fan Expo meet and greet, Adesanya was interacting with fans when one of them decided to stir things up. "Hey Izzy, you say Jones," the fan yelled out, trying to provoke Adesanya into mocking his old rival. Adesanya immediately paused. He looked the fan straight in the eyes and called him out on it. "Wait a minute, look at me. That's rude. Why would I say Jones?" His tone was calm but firm, making it clear he wasn't going to play along with cheap disrespect. He continued explaining his perspective with honesty. "Even though he's going through some stuff, I don't like to kick a man when he's going through a hard time. You've got to understand, as a fighter, it's really hard. You can't just be rude like that. You understand?" But the fan didn't back down. Easily, he pushed the issue further, bringing up Jones's well-known legal troubles, so he beat his wife because of that. The fan challenged. Adesanya didn't let that slide either. He shook his head, trying to get the fan to think deeper. "No, we all do dumb stuff. You can't just, no one's perfect. He's a piece, you're a piece. I'm a piece. No one's perfect. Can't kick a man when he's down. Look, young guy, use your brain. Understand? Be respectful." He admitted that even though Jones had his flaws, just like everyone else, there was no reason to pile on. "I know but you have to be more respectful, because when he beats ass, he's a piece of, but you've got to use your brain." It was a very human moment from Adesanya, showing that while he can be sharp and funny, he also understands the code among fighters that even rivals deserve respect when they're down. And although Jones may be retired for now, Adesanya didn't sound convinced it would last forever. During a recent appearance on Ariel Helwani's show, Adesanya predicted that the former pound-for-pound king will eventually come back to the octagon. Because if there's one thing Adesanya knows about fighting, it's that the hunger never truly goes away. Moving on to another story, Belal Muhammad is making waves again with his pointed remarks about Kamaru Usman. saying outright that he believes Usman is actively avoiding him. Even though Bal recently lost the belt to Jack Del Matina in what was a hard-fought contest, he remains convinced he's still the best welterweight in the division. In a candid interview with MMA Junkie, Bal didn't hold anything back. He described the mentality that's always driven him in his career. To me, it's always about proving a point. He said, all of my other fights on the way up, I was the underdog. People thought I couldn't do it. In this fight, they were like, oh, he's going to wrestle easy, but he can't strike with him. I wanted to prove I could strike with any of these guys. Bal went on to reflect honestly about his most recent bout. Looking back, I still think I won 3 of the rounds. The judges didn't see it that way, but I still grew from it. I got better. He made it clear that for him, improvement is everything. Even in defeat, he continued with that same conviction. Would I change anything? Obviously, I'd get my hand raised, but I still think I can outstrike these guys. I still think I'm better on the feet. If I fight him again, I think I could piece him up on the feet as well. Bal didn't mince words about what he thinks should happen next. I think fighting Kamaru Usman is what should happen. He has to go through me. I'm still the #1 ranked guy. It was a war. It was fight of the night. If JDM is still the champion, who wouldn't want to see that fight again? All these guys have to look to fight me. He also called out what he sees as Usman's attempts to avoid the matchup. Kamaru Usman is acting like he deserves a heavyweight title shot after beating Buckley, who can't wrestle, acting like he's still the champion. Bro, you're 1-3 in your last 4 fights. You are saying, when I see Bal, it's on sight. So now you have the chance to make it on sight inside the cage, and you're not doing it. Bal insisted that Usman is trying to stray away from facing him because he knows how dangerous the matchup would be. At the end of the day, I'm still the #1 guy. Whoever fights me, the winner gets next. He's trying to avoid me. He knows I'm still the hardest guy in the division when you're looking at stylistic matchups. I still think I'm the best in the division no matter what. Bal wrapped up with a bit of hard-earned perspective on the sport. Part of fighting is that when you lose, you don't get to play again next week like a quarterback. We have to wait 3 or 4 months. For me, it's about getting back where I belong, getting a win. And if Kamaru keeps trying to avoid it, it's next guy up. Ian was talking about it. If Ian wants to fight, let's go. We've got Sean Brady still there. Guys who are still riding high in the division. I think I beat all of them. All it takes is 1 more win, and I'm back where I belong, fighting for the belt. Now let's move on to another news. Arman has given his thoughts on Ilia Topuria being officially recognized as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
If you enjoy our videos, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it.